Good morning everybody, thanks for coming. My name is Danny de Bruin and today I'm going to talk about commercialization in football. I suppose most of you heard about the latest transfer news from China. Chinese club Shanghai Shenhua bought Carlos Tevez for 84 million euros and he's going to earn 32 million euros a year. But it's not just Tevez. Other players like John Obi Mikel, Axel Witsel and even Ajax player named Manja Goudelje are moving to China to become financially independent. What do you guys think? Is it irreversible or is it time to step up and take action against the enormous amounts of money that are going on in football today? With that being said, today we're going to discuss about the following statement. The commercialization in football is a positive change for the world of football. I've divided my presentation in 5 parts. First of all, I'm going to give you some background information about the topic we're discussing today. Next, I will give 3 arguments in favor of the statement, followed by 2 arguments against the statement and a counter argument. Then I will give you a short summary of the discussion about the commercialization in football to end the presentation with my conclusion and the possibility for you guys to ask questions. This presentation will take about 10 minutes in total. So that's it for the introduction. Let's move on to the first part of this presentation. I'm going to give you some background information about commercialization in football before I start with the arguments. In 2003, billionaire Roman Abramovich bought Chelsea Football Club for 86 million euros with the intention to become one of the top clubs in Europe. Every year, he invested enormous amounts of money in the club in order to buy the best players in Europe, which resulted in multiple Premier League titles and even 2 Champions League titles. The takeover was very uncommon at that time, but if you take a look back at it, it was a starting signal for other billionaires from Europe to buy the biggest football clubs in Europe in order to get them to the top of Europe. Nowadays, we can't deny the existence of football clubs like Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain. They are all owned by ambitious billionaires with an infinite capacity. This development represents the commercialization that is happening in the world of football right now. So here are some remarkable facts. The top 20 most valuable football teams are worth an average of $1.5 billion, and that's 42% more than these clubs were worth last year. Real Madrid, FC Barcelona and Manchester United complete the top 3. They are all worth more than $3 billion. Next, the average year salary for players in the English Premier League is £1.7 million, while the average salary for players in the Dutch Eredivisie is €266,000 a year. Even though these are already pretty generous salaries, it is nothing compared to the top of Europe. Cristiano Ronaldo earns $82 million a year, and Lionel Messi makes $77 million a year. Next, this year Sky Sports agreed to pay £5.1 billion for the rights to broadcast all Premier League matches in the next 4 years. And the rights to broadcast Bundesliga from 2017 to 2021 were sold for a record-breaking amount of €4.6 billion. And in 2015, Adidas became official sponsor of Manchester United. They agreed to pay £750 million to be official shirt sponsor for the next 10 years. And this year, Chelsea Football Club agreed a kit sponsorship deal with Nike for £65 million a year. These facts definitely show us the commercialization in football. Now it's time to argue whether this is a positive development or not. Let's move on to the arguments in favor. First, football is all about supply and demand. Football is more popular than it ever was. The stadiums are more crowded, more and more people from all over the world are watching European football, and people are willing to spend more money on merchandising. For example, if we take the English Premier League, the average attendance at Premier League games has risen in the last 5 years. They went up by almost 2,000 visitors per game. If we take a look at the TV ratings of the Premier League games, we can see where the people are watching. Almost 32% of the watches aren't even from Europe, and I think that definitely shows us that football is becoming more and more popular all around the world. As fans, we are responsible for the fact that companies are willing to pay more and more for the rights to sponsor kits or broadcast games. The enormous amounts of money club earns these days are all cost because the amount of fans keep on rising. And as long as the demand is rising, the supply will get worth more and more. Let's move on to the next argument. Football is getting more and more attractive. Compared to the past, football nowadays isn't only more attractive, but it also is a lot more professional. Today, many new technologies are applied to get the most out of players. This increases the level of the game, and that's the reason why it's a lot more fun to watch. The speed and power is unprecedented. This is only possible because football is getting more commercial. Football clubs have more money to spend, and they try to use it for new technologies to improve the level of the players. Besides, sponsorship with companies also lead to new developments that can be used to train players in a better way. Science is used to create ideal conditions for clubs to work in, so that the focus can be on improving the level of the game. This is all possible because of the commercialization that is happening in football right now. So let's move on to the next argument. Football is getting closer to the people. As I showed you guys earlier, match attendances and TV ratings are rising. Nowadays, almost all football matches are broadcast on TV, making it easier for people to watch football. For the first argument, I use the English Premier League as an example. So I will use the English Premier League again for this argument. If we take a look at this table, you can see the increase in the number of Premier League matches to be broadcasted annually. In 1992, 60 games were broadcasted annually, and in 2016 the number has increased to 186 games that are broadcast annually. This development is also related to the fact that the world of football is getting more and more commercial. Companies like Sky Sports and Fox Sports are willing to pay enormous amounts of money in order to get the rights to broadcast those football matches. And since they pay a lot of money, they make sure that they broadcast as many games as they can. This gives fans from all over the world the opportunity to watch as many games as they can, and that's why football is getting closer to the people. So those were the arguments